I fixed my drinking problem. HOLLANDSPIELE and STILIKO, Last of the Romans. This is a game designed by Robert Dulesky. Artwork is by Mark Mahaffey. This is a 90-minute game, solitaire game. Obviously, a one-player game. The weight is medium. I guess that's by HOLLANDSPIELE's standard. And the theme is ancients. And what you get with this game is a 22 by 17-inch map sheet, a 20-page rulebook, a display sheet, 100 cards, 54 counters, and 2 6-sided dice. Compass Games and Red Poppy's Campaign Volume 3, Assault Artillery, La Malmaison. And what you get with this game are 2 maps of 22 by 34 inches, 3 sheets of counters, 1 rule and scenario book, 3 player reference cards, 2 dice, and the famous Compass Games, a box and a lid. Designed by John Gorkowski, and I'd like to congratulate the artists François van der Meulen and Michel Montfort for a incredibly, well, I guess ambient type cover. Fantastic. Complexity is 6 out of 10. Solitaire suitability is 8 out of 10. The time scale, 10 minutes per turn. The map scale, 200 yards per hex. Unit scale, companies, squadrons, and sections. This is a 1 to 2 player game. Playing time, 2 to 24 hours, obviously depending on scenario campaign. Multi-Man Publishing and Hungarian Rhapsody, The Battle for Hungary, October 1944 to February 1945. This is a game designed by Masahiro Yamazaki. Yamazaki-san! Genki desu ka? Gemu kaimasu. Jamata. What you got with this game is 134 by 22-inch map, 560 counters, 32-page full-color rulebook, 2 player aids, and a solitaire rating is very good to excellent, complexity is medium, playing time 3 to 10 hours. There are 3 scenarios, game scale, unit are divisions, turns are 10 days, and hexes are 17.2. Don't forget the 0.2 kilometers across. Masahiro-san, Jamata. High-flying dice games and lances and steel. The Battle of Mokra, September 1st, 1939. High-flying dice, or should I say Paul Rohrbaugh, keeps pumping them out. This is the German attack on Poland, codenamed Case White. The game design is by Paul Rohrbaugh, and what you get with this game are 2 11 by 17-inch maps, 108 unmounted double-sided counters, a player aid sheet, and 1 rulebook.
Hello, this is Riccardo Masini, and this week's greatest day in history and games is August 19th, 1942, the fateful day when German General Friedrich Paulus gave the order to conquer the Russian city of Stalingrad. The drive on Stalingrad was an originally unplanned development of the larger Spring 1942 Caucasus offensive ordered by Hitler. Its main goal were the oil fields around the city of Baku in modern-day Azerbaijan, with Stalingrad only a secondary objective for its strategic position on the Volga River. However, soon during the campaign, military reasons but also propaganda motives convinced Hitler to frontally attack the key logistical and industrial center, actually named after his mortal enemy. The entire German Sixth Army was diverted from the original Case Blue Fallblau plan, reinforced and given the task of occupying the city, while Axis allied nations such as Italy, Romania and Hungary covered the maneuver flanks along the Don River. And so Paulus gave the order, but soon realized that the mission was far more difficult than expected. The first wave of bombings, devastating as they were, for example, quickly turned the buildings into massive rubble, a perfect cover for the determined defenders of the Soviet 62nd Army led by General Chuikov. Week after week, month after month, every single German success had to be paid in blood, with buildings and streets falling into Wehrmacht hands only after days of fighting and hundreds of casualties. German soldiers called this cruel urban fight Rattenkrieg, or the War of the Rats. Even the arrival of General Hoff's 4th Panzer Army from the south, though very helpful, did not guarantee the final success to Hitler. Although virtually confined to the Volga River, the Soviets still managed to get reinforcements in the city with ferries and boats, while single strong points, like the famous Pavlov's house, heroically resisted even when completely surrounded. At the end, when the almost exhausted Germans were about to reach the final success, Soviet forces led by General Zhukov and Vasilievsky executed Operation Uranus against the flanks of the 6th Army along the Don River. A pocket was created with hundreds of thousands of German soldiers and vehicles trapped inside. Paulus tried to convince Hitler of the necessity for a quick withdrawal, but the Führer forbade any retreat. All the subsequent resupply and rescue operations failed one after another. On February 1943, the Germans surrendered and the siege was over. Stalingrad was indeed the turning point of the war on the Eastern Front, and this desperate house-to-house battle has inspired many great games like Storm over Stalingrad or Pavlov's House, as well as scenarios for classics like ASL and Combat Commander. Today's game, however, comes from Vento Nuovo, an Italian publisher, Stalingrad Inferno on the Volga. This very flexible title can be played solitaire or cooperative against the Soviet AI, competitive or by 3 players, 2 Germans and 1 Soviet. The game uses block mechanics. Enemy forces are randomly generated from a hidden pool, while attacking units have to position themselves before launching an assault and discover what they are actually facing: raw recruits or elite assault infantry formations. Also, you have to choose when to press an attack, where to spend your limited resources, and when to call for reinforcements, thus depleting your reserves. Decks of special cards represent combat support or special events occurring during the battle and give a timing to the entire games, and also thanks to a very competent AI, it is very difficult to gain complete control over the city before Operation Uranus is unleashed. You can, however, use some special rules to vary the difficulty level of the game. With components, a very clear and essential rulebook, an almost perfect visual interface give to Stalingrad Inferno on the Volga something of a deluxe look for a game that manages to capture all the tragedy and attrition of such a desperate struggle in just an hour or so per play. Stalingrad is a fantastic title, once again very attractive for newcomers to the hobby, but also very engaging for grognards. So, that's it for the week. For this week, see you on the next battlefields. Ciao!
Tiny Battle Publishing and Greg Porter's Aden. This is the civil war in Yemen that has been going on since 2015. And what you get with Aden is an 11 by 17-inch map of the city, 70 large 1-inch counters for government, rebels, allies, and status markers, a 32-page rulebook with 6 scenarios campaign for the control of the city, each player playing both sides to see who does best. This is a 2-player game, but also very solitaire friendly.
Hi, I'm Fred from HOLLANDSPIELE, the channel on history and board games. Dan invited me to make a small segment on No Enemies Here called Hidden Gems. This is a series of mini reviews on lesser known games with small print runs that I think should deserve more love because they are so interesting and so different from other mass-produced war games that we have in the hobby. If you want to see all the episodes in that series, you can find them on my channel. This week we'll talk about the Siege of Argun, released by Revolution Game in 2015 and designed by French designer Patrick Ruechman. This design is a card-assisted area impulse game that covers the military engagement in Argun from August 83 to January 84. This battle opposed the Taliban to the soldiers of the Democratic Republic of Afghanistan. But first, as we usually do, let's start with a bit of historical context. The Soviet-Afghan War was a conflict that opposed Mujahideen groups to the Soviet-backed Afghan communist government. It lasted for almost a decade, from 79 to 89, and was a direct consequence of the Sour Revolution, a coup by the Afghan Communist Party that took place in 78. In December 79, as internal tension within the newly formed Democratic Republic and opposition in the population grew, the USSR decided to intervene in an attempt to save the revolution. This will trigger a decade of counterinsurgency warfare directly involving the Red Army. An insurgency that was notably supported by the US. And if this topic is of any interest to you, I would strongly recommend the movie released in 2007, Charlie Wilson's War, starring Tom Hanks as Congressman Charlie Wilson, the man behind the US bear trap strategy in Afghanistan. But what about the Battle of Argun in all that? Well, in 1983, the Mujahideen had their eyes on this town close to the frontier with Pakistan, as they considered it as a potential provisional capital to their government in exile. 3 different Islamist groups, supported by Pashtun freelancers, joined their forces to attack the small DRA presence. The fight lasted for around 6 months, and in January 84, the battle was a defeat for the Mujahideen, after a successful attack by the Afghan army column to lift the siege. This battle showed the organizational limit of the Mujahideen groups, some of their problems relating to warfare. One of them being lack of coordination, no strategic vision, and a strong focus on looting rather than tactical objectives. So how does this game represent all of that? If you look at the map, the grognards around you will recognize all the attributes of an area impulse game. The map represents Argun and its surrounding, with all the key attributes of that battle. The main road to Kabul, the airfield serving as a supply source, the Octagon Fort that was a strong defensive position for the DRA, the overall layout of the city and its surrounding with the desert on one side and the mountain on the other. The setup is pretty straightforward. The DRA holds the city and the Mujahideen are spreading out in 3 groups. Players alternate activating areas and units within those areas to do multiple kind of actions. They can attack, they can move, and they can harass if they are the Mujahideens. The 2 sides feel very asymmetric thanks to their units and different limitations. One of them for the Mujahideen being the tribal coordination. But also each faction has a support deck. Because it's not just an area impulse game, players can use cards from their respective decks to support their actions. Overall, it looks and feels like a very compact Storm over Stalingrad. Before giving my opinion on the game, I'll start with a warning. This is a Ziploc game, but don't get fooled by the Ziploc. Revolution Games release some very high quality games, well designed and especially well developed. And to make it even more confusing for such a small print run, the components are actually quite good. In my opinion, the Siege of Argun is a perfect example of Revolution game releases, because it's excellent. And what sets this game apart for me are 2 specific things. First of all, a very well and interesting implemented theme, and those 2 support decks for each factions. There are not a lot of cards, but they definitely add to the narrative by casting light on important elements of the battle. The DRA can be impacted by troop defection and night attacks, while they can also use Soviet support and play with the tribal tensions. The area impulse system was a perfect choice to represent that event. It feels very thematic and made me want to learn more about this specific battle. Unfortunately, there is not a lot of resources online about this battle, but I will add some information in the description. Overall, I think this is a great game, and if you have any interest in modern counterinsurgency or in the Soviet-Afghan War, this is a must-buy for you. Copies are still findable online, I think some of them new, you just have to look for them on BoardGameGeek. I hope that you enjoyed this very short review of Hidden Gems number 2, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
GIMPY of the Gimpy Gamer does a review through extravaganza of David Thompson's For What Remains. This is a solo playthrough, parts 1, 2, and 3 as I speak. Rough Swordsman Wargamer continues his playthrough with Field Commander Rommel from DVG Part 2 and also has an update and subscribers vote and a lovely surprise. He also does an unboxing of Patton's Best from the Avalon Hill Company. And Napoleon's Triumph is telling us what's on his table for August 2020. Seek Out and Play has a How to Play Warfighter PMC business setup rules. And Lock and Load Publishing is under the OG is presenting something wicked and I want them. The new Lock and Load Tactical Skill Cards. When will they ever stop taking my money? And Tony's Board Life is continuing his D-Day at Peleliu. He screwed up and he explains why. Then turns 1 and 2, take 2, and turns 3 and 4, take 2. And Julius Fairfax takes a look at a Spanish game called La Guerra Civil Española, 1936. And Heinemann Let's Play History's got a couple of new games. Well, he is playing, and I wish I could pronounce this, but this is the Republican Bayonet on the Rhine. I guess it's Angriff auf Hohenlinden. Part 1. He also plays Field of Glory Empires and Strategic Command World War II in Europe, and also Imperium, Greek Wars, Corinth. That guy. Jerry White is continuing on the GMT webpage on his Atlantic Chase Stealth. Wayne Hansen is playing, very casually, Bravery in the Sand by MMP, a game designed by Inshiro Suzuki-san. He also unboxes Stilicho, Last of the Romans, and plays Stilicho's first turn. Ad vs. Sun continues the huge playthrough of Unconditional Surrender, World War II in Europe, a game by Salvasta. The man famously known as Calandale, Enrico Viglino, is still spaced out with Stellar Horizons 2140B. Bad Board Games is taking a look at the game that started it all, Tactics, and not Tactics 2, but Tactics, the original, realistic Land Army war game by Charles S. Roberts. Don't forget to check out the awards. Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. And Kilroy is unboxing Phantom Leader Deluxe Edition. Also, Imperial Struggle, an unboxing, and Banana Wars from Strategy and Tactics number 322, an introduction, and The Expanse, intro and unboxing, and Doors and Corners, expansion for The Expanse. And the Hugh Hefner of games, the itinerant hobbyist, is teaching us a Fistful of Lead, Bigger Battles teaching. Fistful of Lead, Bigger Battle teaching game. And Charles Cabb is back after a little bit of a month hiatus with Command & Colors Ancients. He's teaching us his dice and unit types, actually he's telling us about dice and unit types, and also Crimosos with parts 1 and 2 of a playthrough. Carlo Mazzini in his Warlog, he has an addendum to Undaunted North Africa, and also he plays Undaunted in solitaire form and continues Combat Commander in solitaire form. I gotta learn that. BLASTPOP examines the new 3rd edition of The Hunters. The OG, the original Grognard, is playing a Steve Tiller game, American Civil War series, Battles of Cassville, Part 5. And Marco Omnigamer, aka Wargamer, takes a look at David Thompson's DVGs published For What Remains. He reviews the game.
Hey folks, it's Aardwolf. Welcome. Dan Panucci has asked me to provide a short clip about what's been happening at Aardwolf's Lair in the past week, so here we go. We started the week with our regularly scheduled stream of the Great Battles of the American Civil War entry Dead of Winter about the Battle of Stones River. For those who don't know, the Great Battles of the American Civil War series is currently published by GMT, but dates all the way back to SPI and the legendary Terrible Swift Sword game about Gettysburg. It has gone through a number of different publishers and a number of different incarnations, but the system has remained relatively stable under GMT. The next game in the series is called Into the Woods. It is about the Battle of Shiloh, and it is available for P500 pre-order on GMT's website right now. On Monday, we resumed our campaign of a Hot Dry Season with the designer Patrick Mullen. A Hot Dry Season is an operational game about Operation Attleboro in Vietnam in November 1966. It is currently available for pre-order from Legion Wargames. And we also unboxed Napoleon Against Russia from the Operational Studies Group and designer Kevin Zucker. This is part of the Library of Napoleonic Battles, a brigade-level simulation of basically every significant battle in the entire Napoleonic period. Napoleon Against Russia, of course, concerns Napoleon's 1812 invasion of Russia, and it has a number of very large battles in it, including the Battle of Borodino. I don't want to spoil next week for you, but there will be at least 2 live streams, at least 2 unboxings, and at least 1 unboxing related wargaming video. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'd like to thank Dan Palerno for giving me this opportunity. Until next time, happy wargaming.
And Nathan, the wise guy, continues his magnum opus, Axis Empire Daisenso by Decision Games. Right now, as I speak again, he's playing another game here. First impressions of GMT's Pax Romana. I was wrong. I can be wrong sometimes. And then he continues the Rising Sun. Report Japan drives into China. The chief of bonding with board games is doing hand tag the fans' top 5 games from publishers Victory Point Games. Also, a live interview with game designer Mark Herman and the philosopher warrior AJ Toynbee of Hexes and Soldiers has a video called Proving Grounds Experiment 1.0. Should be interesting. Mo of Mo's Game Table is previewing Brotherhood and Unity from Compass Games, and also taking a look at Solar Marine from Micro Design Group. And the dulcet tones of the Player's Aid. Alexander is unboxing The Shores of Tripoli from Fort Circle Games, and also Grant is unboxing Fitna from Nuts Publishing, a game by Pierre Razou, and they are reviewing The Shores of Tripoli from Fort Circle Games.
Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome to the Centurions review, the punk rock band of wargame review institutions. This is Team Yankee, and we will be reviewing it on our website. It will be ready sometime on Monday evening. It's a game of World War III by Mark Miller and Frank Chadwick. It's based on the book by Harold Coyle called Team Yankee. All the scenarios in this game are based on battles in the book. I haven't read the book, but they all play really quick. Some of them actually take longer to set up than to play, and the game plays like a hex and chit version of like a stripped down miniatures war game. So it's a good game. First game we'll be doing a first look at on our YouTube channel is Undead from Steve Jackson Games. This is actually the modern version. This originally came out in, I think, 1981. So Steve Jackson re-released it. Main differences are the plastic box is different and has die-cut counters. And we're doing a first look at the big red one from SPI. It's based on Samuel Fueller's The Big Red One movie. It looks simple to play and looks kind of like a folio game that happens to be in a box. So I think I'm going to like this one. And then we're doing a first look at the Mighty Endeavor, the expanded edition. It's from MMP. It looks like a really interesting game. I actually haven't owned any games from MMP before, so this should be fun to try out. And last game we're doing a first look at is a famous game. It is Wooden Ships and Iron Men from Avalon Hill. This is a unpunched version. I've owned this game probably at least twice, maybe 3 times. Currently I have 2 copies of it. And everyone tells me it's a great game and a lot of fun, so I definitely got to try this soon. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys soon on our website and on our YouTube channel. Have a good evening.
DVG, Dan Verson Games, and Zero Leader. Instead of watching my mug, check out the vid.
Zero Leader is a solitaire board game that allows you to pilot Japanese aircraft fighting the Allies in World War II. You begin by choosing your campaign. We have included campaigns from 1941 to 1945. Campaigns list the different aircraft you may fly and the enemy you may face, along with a number of maintenance crews that you have to start. Zero Leader leans on the established Corsair Leader system, but adds plenty of unique mechanics to set it apart from all the other Leader games. In Zero Leader, you need to maintain your aircraft. Previously, a damaged plane automatically got repaired for the next day. In Zero Leader, a damaged aircraft requires a lot of your limited resources to repair. The aircraft in Zero Leader each have unique attributes that have never been in a Leader game before. Each aircraft has a maneuver rating along with a robustness value. These values make all the aircraft reflect their historical pluses and minuses. Zeros, for instance, are very maneuverable, but not very robust. Can you make the most of the maneuverability positive while avoiding the robustness negative? Pilots have an additional stat that they draw on as needed. Aggression quantifies the difference between a full-throttle, max-performance pilot and a more cautious, methodical one. Which type of pilot are you? Zero Leader simulates the changing fortunes of war for the Japanese in a few very cool ways. The standard squadron makeup is strong in 41 and 42, but a bit weaker in 44 and 45. The late war campaigns also reflect worsening conditions with fewer maintenance crews, which can truly complicate air ops. The aircraft in Zero Leader feature fighters and bombers from both the Army and the Navy, such as the A6M20, KI-43 Oscar, the D-3A Val, and the G-4M Betty. Zero Leader will also include features such as kamikaze attacks and the Oka flying bomb. Zero Leader is a Chuck Siegert design. Chuck has been a wargamer since the early 70s, and this is his first commercial game design. You are needed to help Zero Leader become a great addition to the Zero Leader game legacy.
Sell your games, your war games, get my email, send me a video, and I'll put it on. I might do a little editing, to make me look good. because I don't know if you're going to take as good as a video as I could do. You know what I'm saying? Send it over. It's not going to cost you anything. Bloody hell.
Hey guys, Dave again. This week on my website I am selling Sanctuary Thieves World, the board game based on Robert Aspin's book, Thieves World. This also includes the novel too, so you can read the novel and play the game. It's from Mayfair Games. It's for 1 to 6 players. It has a solitaire scenario, and then it has scenarios for 2 to 6 players with basic rules and with advanced rules. Let's go through it so you see what's included in it. Includes cards, then all sorts of tokens and dice and so forth. And here's the rules here. And it has a mounted map that's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. It includes a little catalog too. The price on this, I'm charging $30 plus $14 shipping. I'll put the URL for where you can buy it on my website and my email address on the screen. Thanks for watching and have a good evening.
Hey, this here's Uncle Jethro. We're going to do an unboxing of this here thing, Space Empires 4X. And it's by GMT Games, and it's designed by Jim Crown, I guess. I hear this is real good, so I've been looking forward to it. So let's get her open and tear off the shrink wrap and see what we got in here in Space Empires 4X. And I got the thing there. Let's just put that there. Oh, let's see what kind of good stuff we got here. I'm sure this is loaded with pieces and oh no, I don't know what to do. They shipped me an empty box. Oh my God, I'm so mad. I'm gonna write a very, very stern letter to these people at GMT Games for sending me this empty box instead of Space Empires 4X. And I'm sure this is a fabulous game, and I'm not gonna get to enjoy it because they sent me an empty box.
Another week, another show. It's been a long one. Please subscribe, like, don't like, cazzo me ne frega, as they say in Italian. But what I do really like and appreciate is if you can contribute and be a supporter. $1.25 a week, $1.25. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thank you to Fred and Artie and Centurions Review and Riccardo Mazzini and everybody who contributes so I can do this. I enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. And have a good weekend. It all ends in a time, man. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Have a good weekend. Be kind to a goat. What now? Nobody wants to play with me. Are you that person? Don't fret. I'm here to help with the solo special solos people who have no friends and they want to play games. And for 1,000 payments of $29.99, instead of sounding like this, I got nobody to play with, you can sound like this. I don't want to play with you. Because today, I'm playing Field Commander Alexander, one of the greatest, if not the greatest general of all time. I'm going to take over the world. No one's going to stop me. You know why? Because I'm playing by myself. It's a game by DVG. DVG! It's a game by DVG. Fantastic. You take over anything you want. But you got to fight for it, right? They ain't going to give up easy. Alone! Taking over the world! Or from Dream Team designer Herman Latman. God, I love that guy! And this is a Flying Pig Games. It's a push your luck game. Yes, I've done it before, but we're playing solo, and that's what it is. It's push, push, push. Find the guns. Are the guns there? They ain't there. Oh my God! What am I gonna do? You lost the game. You try again. That's what solo gaming is like. You're not going out anyways. Oh yeah, this game, you gotta get off on the beach and then you're gonna climb a mountain. And, well, you're just not climbing a mountain. This is what's waiting for ya. Or you could be in space. A game by Joseph Miranda and Decision Games, Struggle for the Galactic Empire, where you can be a transhuman and go through hulls of ships with your mind from your ship to another ship. This is like an Isaac Asimov Foundation series game. I love it. Or you can be a U-boat Kriegsmarine commander, and you command a submarine of wolf packs, and you blow up all these British and Allied ships. But then the Americans come in this year, and they cause havoc. They cramp my style. And now you're not the hunters anymore, you're the hunted. It's the twilight of the U-boats. Those 3 games were designed by Gregory M. Smith, great designer. The first game was The Hunters, the second game was Silent Victory, where the Americans comes in, and the third game was The Hunted. So as the war progresses, things get bad for these guys. So what I'm trying to say is that it's a game, and not everything's a history lesson. I mean, that's the way I take it, but you can play it just as a game, and it's a lot of fun. I'll see you later. GMT is continuing Jerry White's Stealth in the Atlantic. Jerry White is continuing on the GMP. Another week, another show. Cats.